Hey mini enthusiasts, how you doing? So it's Sunday evening, so that must mean it's time for part 12 of the Classic Mini Winter Workshop. So it's been quite a good week this week. I've got quite a bit done on the car. I've got the arch done, there's a few little bits and bobs just to finish off, but quite pleased to have got that done now. But firstly, I just want to say thanks to all you guys that watch my videos, especially to the people that are subscribed. There's times when I'm doing this when I just really can't be bothered, or I can't get the motivation to get out in the garage, especially when it's cold, and get some more stuff done on the car. But kind of this channel, this YouTube videos I upload keeps me going a little bit, because I feel that I'm almost obliged to do some regular sort of updates and get some bits done in the car, do some videoing to keep you guys updated. So you play a small part in this as well, so thanks guys. You give me the motivation to get the car done quickly. So guys, just before we go into the time lapse, I just wanted to talk to you about the paint I use on the car. So by my own admittance, I am not a very good sprayer. I think the stuff on the car looks great, but that's come through years of experience, trial and error, and learning how to be patient. I think there's two things you need when you want to do a bit of painting on the car, especially if you're just using rattle cans like I do. Number one, the most important thing is patience. It's really tempting when something says you need to give it 24 hours to dry. Only give it a few hours, or only give it 12 hours and try and get it done quickly. But trust me, give it the time, have the patience, and it pays dividends. You don't get any reactions with the paint. It looks great, it goes on great first time. And the next biggest thing is using decent quality paint as well. So in the past I've bought rattle cans from Halfords and other motor factors and things like that. I've got them back, I've tried painting bits on the car, and you just get reactions with the lacquer underneath. You get cracking and crazing in the paint. Some of that might be just because I rush things and I'm not patient, but I think a large part of that is buying decent quality paint as well. So on this car and my last few cars actually, I go online now and I buy my paint. It's not particularly expensive. It's more of an outlay than buying single cans at a time, but what I generally do is buy a kit, and that I find works really well, because you're buying it all from the same manufacturer, all the paints are compatible, and if you follow the instructions they give you, I don't have any problems at all. So the ones I've been using for PO actually, so it's a pearlescent car. That really put me off when I first bought the car, because I thought if I want to do any paint work on it, it's never going to look right. But I bought the paint online, follow the instructions to the letter, and it comes out really well. So the only thing they don't provide in the kit, so it comes as 3 parts. So we get your custom base coat. So as you can see on here, it's mixed on the 29th of January 2018, so that's pretty much mixed to order. You get your standard grey primer. And it's important actually when you're using metallic to be using the correct primer underneath the base coat, because it will affect the final colour. And then you get a can of lacquer as well. But like I say, the big advantage of buying them all from the same manufacturer, all from the same provider, is all the paints are compatible. You don't get any problems with paint mixing, any associated problems with the paint.
So the first coat going on is etch primer, and this is just going on the bare metal surfaces that have been treated with cure rust. So the etch primer had 3 days to dry. Now it's time for a coat of standard grey primer.
Okay, so the primer had 24 hours to dry, and now we're just going to go over it with some rubberized seam sealer. Some people don't like using seam sealer, especially under the arches and that sort of thing. I think it adds a lot of protection against stone chips and things like that, so we're going to get that on there. We'll put it on, and then we'll use like a dabbing action with a brush to give an original sort of factory look and finish to the seam sealer. The worst thing about this job is it can be really messy, so set of gloves which are going to get sacrificed on here. If you get it on your hands, it's really hard to get off afterwards, and it dries just like rubber. It makes a right mess. So I want to now try and give that a similar finish to the original finish on the car. Slightly dimpled, so what I found works okay for doing this is just dabbing it with a toothbrush or a paintbrush, something like that, and then let it settle. So a toothbrush wasn't quite giving me the correct finish, so we're just going to try the paintbrush now, see if that's any better. So a paintbrush is much easier to use than a toothbrush and much quicker. Okay guys, so that's on there now, seam sealer's on there, it's been dabbed on there with the paintbrush. It kind of gives it a similar finish to the original. Just got to get paint on that there and we're finished. So after 24 hours curing time on the seam sealer, we're just going to apply a custom mixed base coat, just a thin layer for the first coating, and we'll give that about 20 minutes to dry.
finally, time for the lacquer now. It's really important that we don't leave it too long between the base coat and lacquer, maximum 2 hours really, because otherwise the lacquer won't adhere to the base coat beneath it. And what we're going to do is a very light coat of lacquer, just first off, just to make it a little bit sticky, and then we'll go in with another couple of coats a little bit thicker. And finally, just a little tip from me: when you finish off spraying, hold the can upside down and do the last few strokes upside down. That will clear the nozzle on the spray can and make it ready to go the next time. Okay guys, thanks for watching. If you've got this far, this is the end of the video, so really appreciate your time watching till the end. This is a result of this week's effort, so pretty much done this in a week. Just got to decide now whether I'm going to do the front wheel arches as well. Probably will. Still got a few weeks left until I tax it and get it back on the road, and it'd just be nice to get them done as well. So quite pleased with the results this week. Like I say, this side wasn't as bad as the other side. It was just a little bit scabby, needed cleaning off and just saving really before it got really rusty. So looking pretty good now. So thanks for watching guys, and hopefully catch up with you next week. Cheers, bye.